Victor Wembanyama versus Chet Holmgren has been the King Kong versus Godzilla rivalry the NBA has been waiting for. Two unicorns over 7 feet tall with perimeter skill sets, defensive dominance, and a competitive fire that's bringing a spark back to the NBA. In only their second NBA season, this has become a must-see matchup, but where did it all begin? I've got some unseen footage, and I'm going to dive deep into the very day their rivalry officially begun before either of them touched an NBA floor. What's good, everybody? I'm Anthony Goods, the Stanford gentleman turned NBA scout, and if y'all want to see exclusive content like this, liking and subscribing is the best way to tell me what you want. We show love on this channel, and if you watch my PrizePicks promo later, you'll get a chance to decide the next topic I cover. But I'm done wasting time. Let's see what's good with Victor and Chet.
Where did the energy come from? Because
what energy?
Y'all two energy against each other. Because it was like the moment y'all two stepped on the floor, one of y'all made a layup on somebody, and it was just like smoke from there. Like,
I would just say us being competitors. You know, we played against each other before we were even in the NBA.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
Like,
the day Chet is talking about goes back to 2021 in Riga, Latvia, where Team USA and Team France were participating in the FIBA U19 World Cup. I had the privilege of being there and watching every game for both teams, and from the very first day, there was a buzz about Victor and Chet meeting in the final for the showdown we were all waiting to see. The competitor and both players would likely never admit it, but immediately you could see the similarities in both their skill sets. Seven-footers with that kind of fluidity don't come around every year, but both of these prospects had alien abilities. All tournament, they made plays above the rim against other future pros. They were also rabid rim protectors, which was probably one of my favorite attributes about both of them. Block shots as primary defenders and from the help side. Victor was even impressive taking contact and still being able to block the shot with his left hand, which is a special and underrated skill to have, to be able to block shots with both hands. And in this tournament, they both had plays where they caught blocks and finished in transition. There was no way at this point you could tell me they weren't made in the same factory. And on the last day for the U19 championship, the stars were aligned perfectly for the first of many Victor versus Chet showdowns. Before we dive into this game, let me show y'all some love. As y'all know, I've been playing PrizePicks this football season, and I'm gonna give y'all a chance to pick the topic of my next video, which I'll explain in a second. First, let me show y'all my picks this week. Arizona's been dealing with a lot of injuries, so I'm gonna roll with James Conner to get more than 108 rushing and receiving yards. With Trey Benson and the third string out, I think he's going to get a lot more touches, so this should be easy to get. And for my next pick, I'm going to roll with A.J. Brown to get more than 75 receiving yards. I feel like for Philly to win, they're going to have to play well offensively, and they're going to let it fly. So 75 yards should be doable. And those are my picks, but what I want y'all to do is go to PrizePicks.com, use promo code AGoods24, and make your own picks. Then come back to my video and leave the comment, "Let me scout." After that, I'll randomly select one of y'all, I'll let you pick the topic, and I'll give you a shout out on my next video. PrizePicks is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and if you had a skill, you could turn $10 into $1,000 real quick. PrizePicks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Go to PrizePicks.com and use promo code AGoods24 and receive a guaranteed $50 when you play $5 in lineups. That's PrizePicks.com, and that's promo code AGoods24. Daily fantasy sports made easy. From the beginning of the game, you knew there was a game within the game between these two. And Chet got an upper hand with an easy dunk early. If few possessions later, Chet hit a three-pointer, and I remember thinking Chet's maturity and his aggression is going to be a factor in this game. You got to keep in mind, Chet's like a year and a half older than Victor at this point. Victor was 17 and Chet was already 19 when this game tipped off. It wouldn't take long for Victor to settle down and for the ball to find him on this post-up. One thing I loved about this play was how quick he processed his position on the floor, gathered himself, and got Chet out of his seat with the ball fake to reverse pivot back to his right hook. Unbelievable for a 17-year-old to do this in real time. But on the next play, Chet wanted more smoke and brought it right to Wemby. This would have been a very tough finish if he made it, but he probably needed to go off one foot to get that off. Even though he missed, you can see Chet's potential to attack off the dribble as a 5, which is what makes him dangerous today. Armel Traore, who's with the Lakers now, misses the three-pointer as Chet and Victor scrap for that board. Victor recovers to the paint to help on a mismatch, and Chet takes another semi-open look but misses. I'm not mad at that shot, he just missed it. Another action, and we got Chet once again creating off the dribble. Yes, he's missing these attempts, but his fluidity getting to the rim is amazing. You don't see that from 7-footers. As a scout, you have to be able to see the positives and imperfective possessions. What we don't like to see is Chet losing focus and missing this block out that leads to a tip dunk by Wemby. On this next play, Jaden Ivey makes a great play, but this is where you would want Victor to be a little more aware when Ivey has the ball, because Ivey was on demon time this whole tournament, so he had to be at the top of the scouting report. This next play, there was a lot of dummy action that got USA confused, and no help side on the backside. France just throws it up to Wemby. Not sure it would have mattered if help side was there anyway, though. I like this next play, though, because even though Victor was late and there was a foul on the play, he was still able to block that shot with his left hand, which I spoke about earlier in this video. It's a rare skill. Now, Victor has a mismatch against the guard. He gets in trouble when he puts it on the floor. Help was waiting, but he probably would have been better if he just shot over him. Here we got another isolation on that same side. This was just a tough shot on Patrick Baldwin. Nothing you could do about that, and one. Now let's take a second to analyze their bodies. Even though he's super skinny, you can still see some definition. There was so much talk about Victor and Chet's body being able to hold up in the NBA, and even on this day, with a 1.5 year age gap, you could tell Victor's body had more potential to add muscle than Chet. Back to the action though, we have a pick and pop action, which we saw Victor do a lot of today. So we've seen him be a lob threat and a perimeter threat, which is what you want your modern big to be. Now this is where we see one of Victor's weaknesses come alive. Though he never backed down, Kenny Lofton's physicality was a bit much for Wemby at this age. Anytime I see a player get bodied or muscled on a play, I like to see how he responds. Some guys respond with aggression and some guys will stop playing. It doesn't mean you have to be a tough guy yourself, but some kind of response is good. Wemby gets an easy tip bang here, and on this play, you can see the value of having him on the court because the 5 had to contest the floater on penetration, which left Victor alone to clean up the rim. This time on defense against Lofton, Victor tried to avoid contact so he could use his length and get to the shot. Smart play if and only if he did that intentionally. Now we get to see Chet facilitating the half court, finding Ivey on a nice back door. And I wanted to take a second to highlight this next play to show Kenny Lofton's IQ. He's under the basket, but he's not even guarding Wemby. He's guarding the corner man. Shot goes up, and he immediately gets Victor out of the picture. Such a smart play late in the game. But Ivey fell asleep on the backside, and they were able to get the offensive board. They get the turnover anyway. Lob over the top to Chet. Wemby legally scrapes it off the rim because of European rules. Good play. In this action, I love the diagonal cut by Victor. He's such a big target cutting through the lane. Tough finish here with the left, but the right shot in that circumstance. If you look at the footwork and the small hesitation, this is really an elite move. He's 17 right here. You could tell once he cleaned this all up, he gonna be held. And the best part about this sequence is on the other end, he never hung his head and he stayed in the play and prevented Chet from getting an easy tip dunk. And then he made a second effort block before getting a costly foul that would keep him out of the game during a crucial stretch. But you gotta love how he's impacting both ends and playing through mistakes and misses. He's playing like he's one of the older guys in this tournament. Here we got a mental lapse and Victor throws it away and Ivy punishes in transition. Short roll for Wemby on this play as he misses the short jumper. Not mad at it. But on the other end, Kennedy Lofton almost broke Wemby in half on the next possession. This play probably made people start to question Wemby's toughness. That play not only took the air out of Wemby, but France was finished at that point. Chet got downhill on that handoff, and again, you have to acknowledge his versatility on that play. Not many fives can do that. And here we get to see Chet's switchability late game. Great contest and forced a tough finish. On the second ISO, you would like to see him keep the ball in front, but he recovers again and makes a play on the ball. Love the defensive potential.
Yeah, he blocked that.
And to finish it off, Victor makes a block on the other end, but it wasn't enough to win the game. So that's how Chet and Victor's first matchup went. Neither player had an amazing game, but you could see potential in both. And I remember walking away from that game thinking that Victor was the more impactful player on both ends of the floor. Though Chet didn't score much, it didn't really matter. Team USA was loaded and they played with a 10-man rotation. Every player on that roster had high-scoring games and low-scoring games, so I didn't look into that much. Now that we've seen where this Victor and Chet rivalry started and where it is now, let me know where you think this rivalry can go in the next decade. It's giving me Kobe and T-Mac vibes, but let me know in the comments, and don't forget to use my PrizePicks promo code to get a chance to decide the topic on my next video. But that's it. I appreciate y'all watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Stay tuned for what we got next, and as always, keep shooting, and I'll keep scouting.